Very little downtime in between matches, not gonna lie. It's a little bit stressful when we get out of game and we have to just quickly jump into another. But we're keeping up. So far, so good. And here we go. We're getting into game number 1. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Gen G Esports. It is Trap. Here we go. Trap, he does move out. We'll foresee unnatural natural out of Rogue. Likewise, setting up back at home, going to be a gate expand into Cybercore. Standard opener so far, likewise Rogue doing the same. Now, as winding it back a little bit here to the start of the series, to the start of the broadcast, I should emphasize, we did cast Rogue versus Skillers, and we saw that Rogue, he did have relatively standard openers. It was in the mid game where he did pop off, where he was able to go for these big 3-base all-ins, commit with either Ling Hydra aggression or Roach Hydra aggression as well, being very active and very aggressive in the mid game of a 3-base saturation. That's really where he thrived, at least against Skillers. We'll see if he does adjust against Trap. So our eyes are going to be on the tech of Rogue, alongside his lair timing, alongside his saturation, and whether or not he ever does saturate the 4th. Here we go. As for now, we do have the probe just being as annoying as possible, just trying to disrupt the economy here of Rogue. Likewise, back at home, Trap just settling in. Just gonna be settling in, saturating his bases. Gate into Cybercore. Speaking of back at home, we have our tech of choice. Going to be a Stargate opener here from Trap. Stargate into Oracle. Everything looking normal so far. Nothing crazy, nothing wild from either player. As Rogue is holding his own. It's going to be on Rogue to keep up with the Adept. So far, Trap, he does get eyes on the 3rd. Doesn't get here in time to delay or to deny. But does get eyes on it. Threatens a Shade, gets eyes on the gases, once again making sure there is no fast Roach War, no fast Baneliness, no fast Lair. Nothing crazy early on. Not yet. We'll head in towards that 3rd base. Does get 1 drone, not bad. 1 drone goes down, and Adept shades away. The 2nd Adept does come in to join the 1st. 2 Adepts, they can one-shot drones, they head into the mineral line, and they do kill, not commit. Ooh. Barely not. Trap gets the hell out of there. Ling speed is now done, and Trap does respect it. Respects Ling speed. 3rd base not being taken. Now, typically, because Ling speed is finishing up, the Adepts would race back home to defend the 3rd, but Trap is being a little bit more ambitious here. He moves out once again. Shades towards the main. Oracle coming into support as well. And we'll see if we can get into the mineral line. Does dive in. Gets 1. Gets 2. 2 drone kills so far. He's going to get 3. 3 workers do fall. Not the worst trade. So far it was 4 drones for 2 Adepts. But the Oracle is yet to get much done. Pulls back. 2nd Oracle comes out. Lings are revealed. They're making their way towards a 3rd. Ooh, and Trap doesn't actually have much in position. He doesn't turn around. Oh, does not turn around, which means the Lings, they dive in. They get the pylon. Adepts, they try to respond. Lings are coming for the surround. Adepts are getting caught out. Looks like Trap, he does shade in time to save 1 Adept. And he will save the expansion. Oh my god, so close. Does save the expansion. Walls off in time. Clutch moves. Likewise, Oracles across the map. No shot did 1. 1 Oracle went down, and that was not worth it. 2 drones went down for an Oracle. Aye, aye, aye. Roki does defend. He does protect that 3rd. Likewise, back at home. Lings being active. More Lings are on the way. Roach Warren has in place. That was, what, a 440-ish Roach Warren timing. Not too early. But more Lings are amassing. Oracle's looking for more damage. They are looking. Not finding anything yet. Adepts shading towards the third. Lings are keeping up. They get a nice surround. Take down one. You go for the recall. Oh. What does pop up? Ooh, takes down one of the spores. So nicely done there by Trap, sniping a spore. Back at him, he's getting ready for the counterattack. Shield battery's on the way. He's got 4 adepts. He's fine. He holds. Rogue, he has to back off. Back at home, he's trying to resaturate, trying to get his bases up and running. 4th base on the way. And he's waiting for his lair. Once again, he does have a roach one, but he has not really invested into roaches. He's really waiting for his lair for, I would imagine, Hydra Tech. So we have had a back and forth so far. So far, Trap doing well for himself outside of losing that one Oracle. Right, that one Oracle going down was quite brutal. Things they come in, they don't get much done. Trap moving out with his army. Blink is not yet done for him, though. This is a risky move out. Despite that, he's going for the expansion. Adepts, they threaten the shade. The Lings, they race back home. That's a lot of Lings. Rogue forced to make some roaches. There's that Hydra that we spoke about. Is going into Hydras. But now cutting workers. And again, we expect Rogue to cut workers at 66, at 3-base saturation. And we expect the 4th base just to be for larva. Rogue going for a massive counterattack. Army's out of position. We'll get into the mineral line. And Trappy has to make a choice. Does he commit? Does he race back home? He's racing back home with the Oracles. Does go for a defensive warp in. Adepts a shade into the mineral line. Drones aren't going down. The probes nice stacking out a trap. Stacks the probes. Saves the mineral line. Across the map, there's going to be 8 drones going down. And Trappy still maintains his army. He forces back the Lings. Rotates with the Stalkers. Making his way towards the 4th. But now there are Roaches. Roaches have arrived. Trap has to respect it. Slides on Roach. Oh, reinforcements on the way. The Prism has arrived. He can keep going. Lings, they threaten another run-by. They do threaten the run-by, but Trap, he's ready for it. Does get the Revelation, chasing him down. Trap reinforcing. Behind this, he's on 8 gateways. But he has his gases. He's taking up in towards the Temple Archives, towards Storm. Storm is on the way. Stasis Trap goes off, catches the Lings. Roaches are stepping forward, diving on the army. Trying to trade. Clutch chance used here by Rogue, barely keeping this going. But how many Stalkers actually went down there? Only 3. 3 Stalkers and 10 Roaches. Trap, he's going for the kill. He's going for the throat. That base is getting so low. And he's just going for the Roaches. There are barely any left standing. And Rogue, he's just barely not able to keep up. Lost far too much of the pros. There's too many workers in the lead up here to this game state. 4th base goes down. And GG gets called. There's just nothing left. And Trap, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Again, very decisive moves here out of Trap. Able to get some nice economic damage with the initial adepts, with the oracles. Able to pull Rogue apart. Rogue, when it came to his setup there, coming in towards that kind of mid-game, he was heavily reliant on his Ling run-bys. Remember, time and time again, he was being active with those Lings. He had to cut his own worker production, or had delayed his own worker production in favor of going for those Ling run-bys, those Ling counterattacks, and they weren't really worth it in the end. There was that moment where he was able to get into the mineral line, but we saw that Trap, he was probe stacking very well at the same time as he was harassing across the map. He was able to protect his mineral line, able to race back home with the oracles in time, and Lings did not do enough. The Lings, they did not do anywhere near enough damage to make that worth it. In the end, that was kind of the moment that Rogue was broken, because he had invested so heavily into that run-by, and then he was losing roaches, losing bases, lost the game. GG. GG, well played. With that, we are getting into game number 2. It's going to be Rogue's map of choice, and the map is going to be where we headed. I would imagine a smaller map. Ooh, never mind. The direct opposite. Going for a much larger map. Getting into Abyssal Reef. Okay. Now, I assumed he wanted to go for a smaller map to be more aggressive against Trap, but it looks like, based on the map choice of Abyssal Reef, Rogue wants more breathing room. He wants more breathing room. He wants Trap to back the hell off. Rogue, he wants to stabilize here on 3 and 4 bases. He wants to get in towards the mid game. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like Rogue, despite his build of choice, he was not able to really embrace his Hydras. The whole point of his build was to get into a 3-base move out with Roach Hydra, but he never got there. The Hydras, as they were popping out, he had to tap out. Here we go, we're now getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Abyssal Reef. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Gen G Esports. It is Trap. Here we go. Trap is going to be setting up. Likewise, Rogue taking his unnatural once again. And now we're settling into Abyssal Reef. Again, as we mentioned, it is a very large map. One of the largest maps in the map pool. One of. Neon Violet Square is the largest. And Abyssal Reef not too far behind as the second largest map. Long rush distance by ground. Very defendable natural. Very defendable 3rd, 4th, 5th base. We've spoken about this before, but you can end up and settle into a very strong economy. We saw that previously here tonight with Clem versus Ryung. And we could see it here as well. And again, this tells me at least that Rogue wants to be able to settle into a much more stable economy and actually get into his own game state and embrace his own lair tech. But we'll see, because this map is so defendable, because it's so economic as well, it does lead to other avenues of tech. We have seen players try to go into mutaplay here on Abyssal Reef. We've also seen players embrace Swarm Host. So I was thinking Locust. But Swarm Host and I guess Locust in tandem to go for Nidus Rooms across the map and Locust Waves into the natural, Locust Waves into the 3rd, and try to pull the defending player apart. These kind of strategies are viable here on Abyssal Reef. And we'll see if Rogue goes for any of them, or if he gets into his tried and true kind of 3-base Hydra play. See if he can get there. For now, Trap going for a Stargate. He's going for a Stargate opener. To be expected. Stargate into Oracle. Into a 3rd. Now, last game, Trap was being very active with his first 2 Adepts and was achieving quite a bit of damage early on. Again, the map itself might be a bit of a deterrent to that. I say that Trap is once again moving out, but we'll see if he's going to be as successful this time. See shades across the map. Does shade across. Rogue getting in position. So far so good. He's keeping up. He's keeping up. Shading towards the main. Not quite able to. Trap gets the hell out of there, pulls back home, and now we can just settle into our own game state here. Oracle has arrived. Trap can choose to be active or stay back at home to actually secure his 3rd, and opting to do the latter. Opting to do the latter here, setting up the expansion and preparing for the defense. So you can see already just a very different tone here from Trap as he does dive into the middle line. He gets 1, he gets 2 drones, takes a lot of hull damage though. That was a bold move, a bold trajectory there for Trap. Not sure that was quite worth it. Didn't lose the Oracle, but took a lot of hull damage. Let's get out of there. But again, as opposed to game 1, again, because of the size of the map, we see the Trap, he's being more conservative with the Adepts. He's not getting anywhere near as much damage. The Rogue is so much more comfortable here on Abyssal Reef. Saturating his bases, and here we go. Now we're going for a follow-up push. It's going to be 2 Oracles alongside how many Adepts? Alongside 6. 6 Adepts moving out. To defend against this, Rogue should have enough Lings. Lings are amassing as we speak. Trap, he does commit to the shade, heads into the mineral line. Lings, they come in for a surround. They lock down the army. The Lings, they do melt. And so far, Trappy's holding his own. Gets 2 drone kills. Shading towards the main. Doesn't commit. Recalls back home. We'll lose 1, we'll lose 2 adepts. But 4 make it back. 4 adepts get saved. In the end, that was, I would say, a better trade for Trap. Sorry, better trade for Rogue, what I meant to say. What I mean by that here is, as the tumor goes down, but Trap, he only got 2 drones. 2 drones for 2 adepts. I was hoping, I'm sure, for a little bit more. Likewise, Queens, they maintain at that 4th expansion. And Rogue, looking solid. Saves his mineral line, saves his drones, saves his base. Taking up into the lair. And he will be finally able to embrace that Hydra tech, I would imagine. He's getting there, finally. This trap is being active. Rotating towards the south. Likewise, oracles are there to support. Trap going to be moving in. Rogue, he's trying to keep up. Hydroden's on the way. Rogue did skip Roach production. Remember, he skipped Roaches. He's going straight Ling Hydra. Lings are keeping up. They do get us around. Oh, catching the Adepts. Stasis goes off, but they're a little bit lackluster. Most of the Adepts do go down. Trap shading in towards that natural, but he shouldn't get much done. Yeah, it doesn't get a drone. Adepts are cleaned up, and Rogue defends. Rogue key defends. Now he's massing up Hydras. Behind this Trap, he's on 6 gates. +1 is almost done. Plink as well. You can see instead, Rogue just going for a big link counterattack. The Oracles do confirm they're racing back home, so the Stalkers. And this does give Rogue breathing room. And again, this time Rogue is able to embrace his build of choice. The Hydras. Hydras are amassing. Rogue getting into +2 range. Taking up into an infestation pit. That'll be for Hive Tech. That'll be for Lurkers as well. So Rogue is going for a more macro approach. Taking up and droning. Taking up, saturating his bases. Trap having a harder time here punishing that economy. He's trying to, don't get me wrong. But so far unable to. Revelation reveals the Hydras. Stalkers poking in. They do take down some of these tumors. Pushing towards that natural. Likewise, Rogue is keeping up. Zones back the army. Army does get zoned away. Meanwhile, Rogue being active. Maneuvering across. Trap pushing forward. I mean, nice angle of attack here behind the mineral line. Very nice angle here from Trap. Takes down some drones. Within range of the gas geyser. Behind this, though, Lurkers are amassing. You know, Rogue, he is reaching his final form. The whole point of this setup here was to tech into Lurkers. And Rogue, he's gotten there. He's up to 84 drones as well. Rogue has been the defender, and so far defending well. Throughout the course of this game, has lost only 6 drones, acceptable losses. Most of them just went down here to that harass. Lurkers have arrived, and Trap is taking to Skytoss. Fleet Beacon's on the way. Getting into that Skytoss. Ooh, Lurker shot's going up. And Trap cannot break this. He cannot break this, not head on. Not with Blink Stalkers. Behind this, he has a good economy himself. He's teched into Storm, he has High Templar. And again, if this was more of a Roach Hydra-based composition, then Trap he could break through. But he cannot. Not against this. Not against Lurkers. So Mothership's on the way. Stargates, we're taking up and getting into Skytoss. We're getting there. Alright, getting there. Meanwhile, Rogue moving out. Here come the storms. Ooh, the lurkers, they zone away the army. And Trappy has to go the long way around. Rocks are being knocked down, and Rogue making his way straight for the fourth. And Trap is in trouble. He's racing back home. Racing back, not quite in position. Lurker set up. Lurker range is done. We have a Spire behind this. Rogue getting ready here for those Corruptors. Spine shots are going off. Rogue is pushing his way in. Ooh. He's trying to force his way in. Getting within range. One lurker does full, but the others are getting behind the mineral line. Yeah, just a brutal arc of attack here. Tempest are amassing. Trappy needs time. He needs time for more Tempest. So far he's on 2. Soon to be 4. Tempest, they take down one of the lurkers. Lings, oh, flooding in. Trying to force out their storms. And storms are being thrown down. The Lings, they do collapse on the army. Nice cloak. Saves the High Templar. Cloak's just into... Oh my god, the spine shots are brutal. Jesus. Trap leading out a lot of supply there to the lurkers. Yeah, just a bit of miscontrol. Likewise, Tempest now moving in. Lurkers going for the expansion. It's getting very low. Trap should be able to hold on. Yeah, should be able to hold. He's breaking out. Will lose a lot of stalkers in the process. He does break out of this. Likewise, Tempest should have free reign. And Rogue realizes that. He backs off. Does back off. Trap holds. He's holding on, building up more Tempest. Meanwhile, Rogue, he's already transitioning into Corruptor. Jesus, how many Corruptors does he have? 13! 13 Corruptors already ready for this. Now, the upgrades are lacking. These are 0/0 Corruptors, but there's plenty of them. And +1 air attack is on the way. Soon to finish. Being run by hits the 5th. Hoping to force a cancel, and it looks like it will. And the Cracklings, they cracked. Likewise, Lings, they sip in towards the main. At least one Ling does. May not be pushing towards the 4th. Ooh, Corruptors, they dive on the Mothership. Mothership should go down. Nice storms. But the Mothership does fall. And there's not that much anti-air. Yeah, Tempest as well. And Rogue is snowballing out of control. He just outpositions the army. High Templar pushing into lurkers. Tempest do fall. No detection. Oh my god. Bit of a later revelation. Lurkers are going to be cleaned up. Trap is holding. All across the map. Zealot run by does hit a mineral line. No bases. Sorry, no workers yet though. Will be cleaned up. Yeah, Zealot's going to be forced back. Rogue, he's still remaxed. But what I will say with this remaxed army is that Rogue has 0 lurkers. 0 lurkers, a lot of supply here in Corruptors. The Corruptors dead supply. Uh-oh. Rogue is in trouble. No shot. Is in a lot of trouble here. Storm popping off. The Corruptors, they do nothing. And the lurkers are just now starting. Again, Rogue, he was maxed out. He couldn't afford any more lurkers. There's 3 lurkers on the way, and Trap, he can just go for the kill. He can send it. Go. Send it back. Where's the Storm? Storm popping up. 3 lurkers behind this. 1 lurker gets denied. There's 2 left. 2 lurkers left. They do borrow in time. Is there detection? Ooh, no detection. 2 lurkers, they barely hold the line. If it wasn't for those lurkers, that could have been it. That could have been game. Zelda reinforcing. Oracle's on the way. Corruptors, they chase down the Prism. Making sure there are no reinforcements. And likewise, the Oracle's going to be exposed as well. And more lurkers are morphing in. Rogue, he's barely holding on. Again, those were the MVP lurkers. Army pushing forward. Lurkers, they keep up. Trap, he almost pulled it off. Once again, no detection. Stalkers, they will punish. Reinforcing with additional Stalkers. And likewise, the Oracle's not going to be the most reliable form of detection either, as it has to survive the Corruptor. Meanwhile, lurker count is building up. More and more lurkers. Up to 9 already, soon to be 12. And Rogue is stable. He's stabilizing. Trap had momentum. Not so much anymore. Corruptors, they want that Oracle. They want it. Gee, oh my god, 8 more? Jesus. How many lurkers do we have? 12, soon to be 20. Sorry, 21. That's 9 more lurkers. 21 lurkers on the way. Hasta la lurkers back. Yeah. And there's just not a high enough immortal count. The immortals are going down. Ooh, another immortal falls. Trap has to back off. And he has to relinquish map control, and here comes Rogue. That's a revelation. Corruptors, they're looking to dive in. They get one Oracle. They get the Tempest, the other Oracle as well. Ooh, under fire. Trap going for a counterattack. Trying to force the army back home. Not bad. The army does respond though. Lurkers they set up. Nice storm. Trap has a retreat. Takes down one lurker. Can Trap playing with fire, but he does force Rogue back home. Trap building up. Again, because of the high corruptor count, he can't really invest into Tempest. I mean, not too easily, I should say. Tempest are on the way, but it's still just a very fragile army for Trap. Very fragile. How many corruptors? 13. 13 corruptors. 13 lurkers. We have 4 more on the way. Getting up to 17 lurkers. Rogue once again maxed out, pushing in. Collapsing on these High Templar. Trap, he's out of position. The army goes straight for the expansion. Trap not where he needs to be. The base is vulnerable. It's going to go down. 13 probes as well. Brutal loss here for Trap. Attempts to storm. But again, Rogue, he has the high ground. He's laying siege on the mineral line. Probes are going down. More workers. Oh my god. And the ground army just cannot engage. Not into this kind of concave. Again, Trap, he's just been out positioned. And from here, Rogue, he has access to the third. He just keep on pushing towards the third base. Denying mining at the fourth. Tempest are trying to respond. But that's where the Corruptors come in. Ooh. And they shut down the Tempest. They get 1, they get 2. 2 Tempests go down, they're getting a third. Decent feedbacks. And Trap is just being torn apart. And Rogue, he's looking to force that ace match. He gets 34 probe kills. Denying mining, just starving Trap out. Trap, he's trying to sink out an expansion, but there's no mining whatsoever, no saturation. Trap, he's trying to rotate, trying to transfer, but there's an Overlord that sees this. Oh no. The Overlord does confirm. And GG gets called. Rogue, he will tie things up. We are going to game 3. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We are going to that ace match. So making our way in. And again, Rogue, he was able to make full use of this map as we expected on a larger map like Abyssal Reef. Clearly, Rogue, his plan was to try to turtle up. He was the defender, he was turtling up, he was taking up quite quickly, and his win condition was to get and race into lurkers as quickly as possible. By the time he had embraced those lurkers, Trap, he had a bit of a later response to get into Sky Toss. We saw that Rogue was able to gain momentum from there on forward. There was a brief moment though where Trap almost won the game when Rogue had remaxed when he lost all of his lurkers. He had remax on Ling Hydra Corruptor. Because he had remaxed, he had no room, he had no supply to morph in any lurkers, and he had a lot of dead supply in Corruptor. And that was that moment where Trap, he counterattacked, he was breaking through bases, he was getting on top of the army, but barely. It was 2 lurkers. 2 lurkers finished, and there was no detection. There was 0 detection, and just barely Rogue he held, and from there was able to stabilize and take the game. GG. GG, well played. A wild game there here out of Rogue, and now it all ends on Whispers of Gold. It is, of course, Trap's map of choice, and has chosen Whispers of Gold. A much smaller map. Much smaller map here. Which makes sense if Trap wants to be aggressive and wants to be in the face of Rogue and wants to deny him from actually teching and being greedy and getting away with Lurker tech. Makes sense. Trap wants to be in his face. Likewise, Rogue, how does he respond? How does he handle this situation? Where are we headed? Where are we headed? As we are getting into Game 3. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Team Falcons. Tying up the series and forcing the ace match, it is Rogue. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Gen G Esports. It is Trap. We go. We are going to be settling in again into a much smaller map. Likewise, the bases are more exposed, and if you get momentum on this map, then it's very difficult to strip that away from the aggressing player. So I would imagine that Rogue is going to commit into a more Roach heavy style. I feel like if we saw Rogue try to rush into Ling Hydra into Hive again, he would just die. This is straight up. Like, I don't think he'd be able to make it. So most likely we'll be seeing some more Roach heavy composition on 3 bases. We'll see if he does cut workers earlier and plays with some 2-base play instead. Curious. 2-base saturation play, I mean. So far, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener here out of Rogue. Likewise, Trap just going for his own Gate Expand Cybercore. Standard openers all around. It's quite rare here to see any big deviations. I mean, Dark and Shin, they are still willing to go for hatch blocks in this matchup. True. They do enjoy going for hatch blocks, or even 12 pools, or just pool first, or even gasless openers at times. 15-15s. But for now, standard. For now, is standard. This most likely will lead into Stargate play, into Oracles, and then that's when we start to deviate from the norm. Here we go. So here we're going to be settling in. Saturating our bases, getting our natural, waiting for that first step to move out across the map. And oh my god, I assumed it was going to be a Stargate, but never mind. It is going to be a Twilight Council out of Trap. You have my attention. Okay, it's going to be a Twilight Council opener instead. With this can lead into either Glaive Adepts or into DTs. Both options are available here to Trap, as he has yet to pull out a gas. So I'm leaning towards a DT opener. Towards Dark Templar, into an Archon drop. But we'll keep an eye on Trap. Robo has in place, staying in gas. Show us the Dark Shrine. Show us that Dark Shrine. And there it is. Dark Shrine gets placed here in the main. Again, if you don't pull out a gas, it's going to be DTs. If you do pull out, it is going to be Glaive Adepts. So there's going to be a DT-based opener. Now, this is not an all-in, bear that in mind. It's not an all-in whatsoever. It's just a way to be aggressive, to be active, to deal some economic damage, to try to cripple, or even just take an economic lead, and then settle into a 3-base economy. Now, on the one hand, if Rogue doesn't have detection in time, then he could lose some workers, that is true. If he does, then the DTs can morph into Archons, and we can get into a longer game state. Trap can try to hunt down Overlords, hunt down Queens, get into the mineral lines, and try to gain map control and expand behind it. Which is typically how this goes. Back at home, safe timing here with the Roach Warren. 350, 345. Now, with an early Roach Warren like this tells me that Rogue could potentially counterattack after defending. But I don't see any spores yet. Okay, spore in the main. We have a spore in the main. The natural base, there we go. Spore is now on the way. Is in production. Adepts are moving out. And Rogue is getting ready for the defense. So here comes the army. Here comes War Prism. Adepts are revealed. DTs are morphing in. Spores are going to be done in time. The Adept Shade does confirm the spore. Backup spore on the way. Just in case. DTs ahead towards the third base. The base is under fire. Spore is waddling in. Nice pickup. Backup spore is on the way, but it's not done yet. DT does make its way towards the mineral line. Oh, trying to make its way in. Nice body blocking here from Rogue. The body blocking. Oh my god. Likewise, the spore in the main, and the DT does not get much done. Is forced to, is forced here, stuck in between the bases. Stuck in between the spores. Is safe for now. Meanwhile, Trap, he does defend. Oh, DT does well into the mineral line, but will only get one drone before being locked down. Nice defense here by Rogue. Shuts down the Dark Templar. Meanwhile, the others are morphing into Archons. So only one drone is killed. And now it's all about Trap just buying time, gaining map control, and trading while he expands. Lings are moving out for a counterattack. So far, Roach Queen, they're holding their own. Overlord up, does go down. At the same time, Lings get across the map with their Adepts backing them to defend. Adepts are in position, they do get surrounded. Yeah, they were not quite against the wall. 3 Adepts go down. Lings, they go for the Immortal. Never mind, they just go for the Natural. Never mind. they just go past into the mineral lines. Archons are forced to recall. Lings into the Natural. Trappy will defend. He will clean this up. But at a cost. It is going to be at a cost here. Also, I do apologize for some of the frame drops. Looks like the Korean node isn't being cooperative at the moment. So I will set up my VPN for the next game, because clearly it's struggling. The connection to Korea is struggling here. I mean, there's going to be no next game in the series, but if we do get another series in Korea, then I will activate my VPN, and the game should be a lot more smooth here on forward. Should be a lot more smooth. Until then, Trap, he's building up. Likewise, Rogue is stabilizing, getting his third base saturated. Oh my god, he's going for a push. He's going for an all-in. Now, Rogue, if he gets a 4th base, it's going to be just for Lava. For now, no 4th expansion. He's building up Roaches, Ravagers, and Queens. Overlord speed is on the way. What does that mean? A German taxi. Here come the Dropper Lords. Here comes the Creep. And the Queens. Everything. Everything, really. It's all or nothing for Rogue. He's going for one big all-in. Trap doesn't know. He moves out. Does move out. The army gets spotted. I mean, Rogue is aware of the Protoss. And Rocks are being knocked down. Trap, does he notice? He does, and he's not quite ready for this. He's racing back home. Only 2 shield batteries, more shield batteries on the way. And can Trap survive? Can he survive the all-in? Rogue pushing forward. Creep is going to be spread. Transfuse is going to be available. Nice force fields. But here come the Vials. The Vials knock them down. Queen spreading Creep. Again, Trappy just has to buy time for these shield batteries. Once again, nice force fields. Slicing up those Roaches. Nice control with the Prism. Saving the Archon. Oh, speaking of, there we go. Does pull back the Archons. Immortals under fire. Roach Raptor pushing in. Gets us off the first Immortal. Oh, the juggling. Nice control. Trappy saves the Immortals. He saves the Immortals, juggles back, he shuts down the Roaches. Very nice control, and with the help of all these shield batteries, there's 6 shield batteries, he's holding. Trap is holding on. Rogue just ramming his head into a brick wall. And Trap, he will not be broken. Again, when it comes to the control, when it comes to the setup here of the shield batteries, he was ready. Was ready just in time. One Immortal finally goes down. Not enough room in the Prism. Senji falls as well, but the Road Trapper is crumbling. It is crumbling at this point. Colossus does arrive as well to clean up. GG gets called, and Trap will take the series 2-1. We'll take down Trap. Sorry, take down Rogue. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Trap will claim the series. Rogue will tap out. That's what I was trying to say, trying to get at. But congratulations to Trap. He will claim the series. Will advance on into the semifinals, where he's going to be facing off against the winner of Clem and Mana. Ooh, so congratulations here to Trap. My condolences to Rogue. He had a good run here in the tournament, but Trap, he was all over him, especially in game 1 and game 2. In the smaller maps, Trap, he did have the advantage. He was a lot more comfortable, clearly. Rogue, less so.